G'day everyone, this is Michael from the Kubeapps team, just bringing some highlights from the latest Kubeapps release, chart release, which Antonio, Rafa, Greg and myself have been working on. So what we're looking at here is your standard application details for an installed package, with one difference that this is an application which has been installed via Flux. So if we look down, we can see it's all the normal kind of what you'd expect. You can see the installation values, the resources from the Kubernetes cluster associated with this package, etc. But the main difference, if we come back to the catalog, and you'll see that these are all different Flux applications. I'll click on Apache, and if I was to install this, the main difference is that we actually need to associate a service account with the package installation, which Flux can use to do the reconciliation and install the package in the background. Otherwise, it's all pretty much the same. We have the same simple forms, which allows for the ease of installation. Now we come back to the applications page to look at the different applications, and you'll see here that there's actually not only a Flux package here, but I've got a Carvel package as well. I can click on this Carvel package and take a look, and sure enough, we've got this Carvel application has been installed. It's got installation notes here. There's three deployments, three pods which are associated with the deployment. And yeah, this operates in just the same way. Now, Kubeapps does this because we've created a packaging API in the backend, which provides a standard gRPC interface with which different plugins can implement to be able to provide the information which Kubeapps needs to be able to display the information. So, for example, if I click on the catalog and I search for, so let's say test, I'll see that I get a result which includes a Carvel package as well as some Flux packages, all together in the one view. I'll explain in a second how that's actually happening, but before I do, I'm going to come back here and enable, uh, before I do, if we come back to applications, you'll see here, if I look at all apps across all namespaces, there's only two, and that's because the only Flux package I have installed is this one, and the only Carvel package I have installed is this one. Now, if we come back, and I'm going to enable our standard Helm plugin and disable the Flux one, and now I'll just redeploy. Now that'll take a couple of seconds for the Kubeapps APIs, the newly configured Kubeapps API service to come up. But with the way that the UI can do this is because in addition to each plugin providing its own gRPC API, which a user interface can query to get information specific to that package, because all these different plugins implement the same API interface, we also have a core aggregate API, which can be queried by a user interface such as Kubeapps, which will return the aggregation of results from the different plugins, which is quite helpful, obviously, in our situation where we want to be able to return information from the different packaging systems. Okay, we're good to go. So if we come back now, we'll click back on applications and we can see that there's just these two. But if I say show apps in all namespaces, we now see that there's a lot more because we're now using the Helm plugin, which is showing us all the different Helm installations in addition to the Carvel one, which is there too. Now it works in the same way. So if I come back to the catalog now, I've just got all the Helm ones, but I can see a mixture of both. There's the Carvel package as well as the Helm packages. Now this has been documented. We've added with this release documentation for how to manage your Carvel packages with Kubeapps, as well as how to manage your Flux packages with Kubeapps. That information's all there and you can take a look and try it out. Note that it is still under active development. We've polished up a lot of things, but there are still a few things that we need to improve. Please let us know of any issues you find. But do go out there and try it out. Now, one thing which is included in this release, which is not obvious because it's not actually visible, is that our dashboard client, that is the thing that runs in your web browser as a TypeScript application, it's no longer able to access the Kubernetes API server directly. So from the beginning of the Kubeapps project, there was always this assumption that the code that's running in the client would be able to query the Kubernetes API service itself to get things such as the to be able to watch the resources that are created by an installed package and so on. Now, with this release, we've removed that by default. So if you install Kubeapps with the default options, there won't be any proxying anymore. Any proxy opened up that provides access to the Kubernetes API service. Instead, we have specific API functions, such as you can request to watch the resources associated with a specific installed package that you have. And as long as your user has the credentials that result in RBAC that has permission to do so, it will work here as expected. So that sets us up for the future to be able to continue, yeah, improving these plugins to be able to have Kubeapps not only as an application installer for Helm, but also for other packaging systems such as Carvel and Flux.